Hey guys, welcome back to Real Estate Informed, the channel that keeps you up to date on all things real estate. My name is Kevin, and today I want to talk to you about where you get your real estate advice from, because it's very, very important where you get your advice from and who's giving it to you, because that can make a big difference. The first place that most people get their advice from is the media, and the media really ticks me off because the news that they give are only given to the sources that they get are from other real estate companies. So I could give you a perfect example of that. So I just pulled up an article right here, and it's a perfect example of how the media just kind of plays into these other companies. So this is CNBC, and it says coronavirus will shrink U.S. home prices by 2 to 3% nationally. Zillow forecast, but deeper dive could be in store. So that's the title of the article. So when you read that and you're like, oh, we're going through like a pandemic right now, 2 to 3%, that's not bad. But I think the point that you need to pay attention to is look where the source is. CNBC is using a source as Zillow. Yes, Zillow of all people. They're a real estate company. Do you really think that Zillow is going to come out and say, we're all going to hell, it's over, we're going to go down 20? You really think a real estate company will do that? Come on now. And that's why it just ticks me off that these companies, that these news outlets use why don't you use a real estate data company? Why don't you use a company that's not biased towards one or the other? Zillow's trying to promote their website, so they're not going to give you bad news. It's like asking a real estate agent, is it a good time to buy? Of course it is. Of course it's a good time to buy. Man, a house could be on fire and you ask a realtor if it's a good time to buy. They're going to be like, yeah, that'll buff right out, no worries. Asking a real estate agent if it's a good time to buy is like asking an alcoholic if it's a good time for a drink. It just doesn't, the math doesn't work. And just for clarification, I am a real estate agent, I'm an investor, I'm a rehabber. I do everything from commercial real estate to multifamily to single family homes. And so all my clients are all referrals. I don't need to do any type of advertisement. I don't need to do any of that. Everyone gets referred to me from other clients. And the reason is because I'm still friends with people I've sold houses to, because I give them the honest review of what I think. If I was in their situation, if I had their down payment, if I had this much money and I work here and I have to live in what area should I live? I give them the honest truth. I give them, hey, if you're trying to, invest, hey, go for a fourplex or a duplex and live in one of the units and rent out the other unit. It'll be smarter in the long run. And as your family grows, you can move out of there. And sometimes that is possible, sometimes that's not. And it's like, okay, if you don't want to if you want to do the investment side, let's do house hacking. You know what I mean? Live in a house for 2 years and then make sure you put in some sweat equity. And then, you can move out of that house. And it could be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a perfect rental for you and your family once you move out. And or you could sell it after 2 years and get $500,000 tax free on the sale if you're married, and $250,000 if you're single. So stuff like that I tell my clients so that they're aware of it. And another thing that really bugs me is there's a lot of real estate agents out there that work and they sell real estate, yet you need to ask them where they live. And the reason I say that is not because where they live, but do they live in a house? Do they own their own house? Because if they're not even buying the product they're selling, why should you? So when you're looking for a real estate agent, just ask them, do you live in a house? Do you own your own home? Do you invest anywhere? If you're looking at duplexes and fourplexes, ask the real estate agent if he owns a duplex or a fourplex, because in order to buy those, you need someone who has experience in them. And if you're buying a single family home, ask them, do you own a home? Do you live in a home? Because that will give you an indication of, do they believe in the product? Do they believe in the area that they sell in or not? So back to this article here where you'll see multiple articles, even on the news, articles online, multiple media outlets that are, they'll take a quote from a realtor that's saying the market's great. They'll take a quote from some sort of, maybe a title company saying that, oh, we're on, there's not that much decrease in closings. And that just ticks me off because that's not the truth. Real estate is not like any other industry where it's like immediate impact, like the stock market, where something happens one day and the next day you can see the downs or the ups. Real estate, you have to understand, in the April numbers aren't going to show up till late May or June, because when a house goes pending, it takes 30 to 60 days, most likely 45 days to 60 days to close on that house. So if the properties that went under contract aren't going to show up till May or June in the reports. So, and then all of the closings that happened on April, where the media is claiming that, oh, we're only down 2 to 3%. Stats that you see for April, those are just the closings that closed on March 1st, March 2nd, March 3rd, the first week of March. That was before the pandemic. So my advice to you guys is, please know that real estate takes time. It takes 30, 60, 90 days. All the people, 7% of the country of people who have mortgages are going into mortgage forbearance, and they say that by the mid-May we're going to reach 14%. That number is going to double. And those people, they have 3 months forbearance. They have so those 3 months, it takes 90 days. So the stats and the news outlets and all that you read about, like, it's a great time to buy, we're only going to decrease by 2 to 3%, says Zillow. That's absolutely bogus. You cannot read numbers that are still 90 days away. You still have to wait the 90 days. It's a patience game. And anytime I try to tell, people that, they're just like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, I've been doing this for over 10 years. That's how real estate reacts. Even in 2008, when there was a crash, there were still people listing their houses on. Lehman Brothers literally fell. Literally did not exist anymore, closed their doors. And there was people, real estate agents, completely lost to this idea. We're still putting houses on the market, like you're going to get a loan for it, like you're going to get a buyer for it. And it's ridiculous. And there's some people who still even bought during that time. It's like you have to be, because the news outlets at that time were not reporting on it. They didn't report on, they did say the Lehman Brothers fell and closed, but they didn't really, anticipate what that really meant. They didn't understand, the news outlets didn't understand the Lehman Brothers is connected to all these other banks, so that when one falls, they basically all struggle or dang near almost fall. You have to have a real estate agent that's in the market, that's doing the work, that sees what's happening and is kind of monitoring everything. Right now, I'm just monitoring. I'm just seeing 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, what differences I see. If you think that the pandemic happened less than 30 days ago and there's going to be some significant change 30 days later, you're crazy. It's going to take more than that. In my opinion, it's going to take 90 days at least. And I know that's what people don't want to hear, but it's the truth. Right, guys, that's my video for today. If you liked it and you got any good information out of it and learned something, please thumbs it up and please subscribe, as it helps my channel. And I will see. And if you have any questions for the next video, please leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them on my next video. All right, thanks, guys. Stay blessed.